If I'm holding hands with someone, I always try and crack their thumb like that because my mom always did that to me growing up. My favorite number is 82 because when I was younger, my best friend and I wanted a favorite number that was different than everyone else's, and I haven't changed it. I always offer my food to someone, my last bite or my leftovers, because my dad would always make sure that we were full before he finished his food. If I'm shopping and can't decide if I want to buy something or not, I make a mental note of what I think the price should be, and if it's under that, I buy it. Because that's what my sister does. I constantly stop to make sure that I'm happier in the process of reaching a goal versus the happiness I think I'll feel when I reach that goal, because that's how my best friend lives, and it's amazing.
I drink my coffee black because when I was in college, this other student told me all about the benefits, and I fell in love with the idea and I got my taste buds used to it. I made sure to stay vegan because after going vegan with my ex and speaking to her a few months after we had broken up and finding out she had given up, I made it a point to say I did this for me and not because we both did it. I make it a point to swing any can of sauce in a circular motion because when I was 9, I saw my dad do it once and it was the best way to get every last drop. I cook for 3 people even though I live alone because my family always taught me to cook for strangers who you don't know might show up, or because you might just be extra hungry today. I make sure to look at myself in the mirror when I'm nude because when I was studying theater, my teacher told us, how can we expect to ever use our bodies properly if we're afraid to look at every part of it non-judgmentally? Every single person out there is a mosaic of everyone they've ever met. I think it's a beautiful idea that if you could look closer into each and every single person, you could see every other person they've been influenced with in their life, for the good, the bad, the ugly, and all of it in between. Who makes up your mosaic?
Doing this trend, but to my boyfriend in heaven. I drink a glass of milk before bed every night now because you would do that on FaceTime. I sign everything with just the letter B because that's how I would sign your love letters. I can't say banana peppers without thinking about our inside joke about it. I wear this necklace every day now because this is the one you're going to give me for Valentine's. I only chew that gum that has the blue wrapper because that's the only kind you would chew, and I had a little stash of my gum wrappers in your truck door. I never want the scar on my left ankle to go away because I got it that time we went ice skating and the skate rubbed my skin off. I give whoever's in my passenger seat aux because you would always do that for me. I'll never be insecure about this little hump on my nose because you loved it. I sleep with socks on occasionally because you like to, even though I called you crazy for it. I fold up my tinfoil into the tiniest little square after I finish eating my burrito because you said it was more fun that way. You will always be such a huge part of my life, and I will forever be thankful for you.
Whenever I'm thinking, I twiddle my thumbs like this because my first crush in elementary school would do that, and now I just can't think without it. Whenever I'm holding hands with someone, I squeeze their arm fat like this because my first girlfriend would do that, and it brings pleasure to me, so I bring it to other people. Whenever I'm falling asleep at night, I place my hand on my cheek like this because my ex would always do that, and now I can't fall asleep without it. Whenever I'm driving alone at night, I play Daniel Caesar in the car because me and my ex would always listen to him, and I just loved that. My ex gave me this before we broke up, and she said, "It's so you never forget about me," and I always keep it with me because I love her.
What about me?
I wear this perfume on special occasions because when I was 15, my boyfriend bought it for me for my birthday. I wore it on our wedding day 10 years ago. I used to hate the dimple in my chin, but it was the first thing I saw on my baby's face when she was born, and there's no way I can hate that. I have this crooked tooth right here, and my dad has the exact same one. I send yellow tulips to my friend every year on the anniversary of the birth of her stillborn son because I watched my mom bury her own baby. I don't kill spiders anymore because my youngest has taught me that even the world's smallest creatures deserve kindness. I often will say height instead of okay or yes because I spent 7 years of my life in Japan. I have a culinary arts degree, but instant mashed potatoes still bring me joy because when my grandma was alive, that's what she would make for Sunday dinner. I always try to remind people that they're smart because when I was in 9th grade, my chemistry teacher was one of the first people to tell me that I was smart. And I'll never forget how that made me feel.
Whenever I'm on the subway platform and someone's nearby, I tense up my legs just in case they decide to push me into the tracks. I learned that from the news and all the recent subway murders. I keep my wallet in my front pocket because my mom told me to after I was pickpocketed. twice. In 2014, when New York City experienced a massive blizzard, I was on the Upper East Side at a California pizza kitchen with a friend from high school. Don't ask questions.
When I see a penny on the ground, I never pick it up. 'Cause when I was young, my mom said someone else might need the luck. She probably just didn't want me grabbing dirty coins. But now when I see them, I always hear her voice. I learned how to braid from a YouTuber when I was 13, so I could do my hair like other girls on my volleyball team. When I talk to guys, I make my voice sound raspy, 'cause one of my ex-boyfriends used to say it sounded sexy. The main girl in this book I read in middle school wore vanilla body spray. Now I can't leave without wearing some to this very day. The only reason that I learned to play the uke was 'cause some girl at my high school did, and all the guys thought she was cute.
At the beginning of every school year, I tell my students that they can eat lunch in my classroom because I moved 15 times when I was a kid, and I was often the student the first week of school that didn't have anyone to eat lunch with. I always have sun-dried tomato and basil wheat thins in my snack drawer because my 3rd grade teacher let us each try one of the wheat thins, and I've been obsessed with them ever since. I try and put grades in as quick as possible because I was a student with so much anxiety about my grades, and I would constantly be checking the grade database to see if my teacher put my grades in. My kindergartner teacher had a rolling cart organizer next to her podium where she taught us from, and I remember sitting on our circle time mat looking up at her with just starry eyes because she just was the best teacher, and I have one of those today. I was obsessed with Matilda growing up, and so I have always wanted to be Miss Honeybee, and so a lot of my actions stem from just trying to be Miss Honeybee. My junior year English teacher wrote all of her students a letter, and so I do the same.
I punch the ceiling of my car whenever I make it through a yellow light without it turning red because my best friend does that. I got tattoos as soon as I could because my dad has them, and growing up I loved tracing them, and I want my kids to be able to do the same to me. My response to I love you is always I love you more, because I saw somewhere that the more just means more every day, and I think that that's a beautiful way to love. I like making up handshakes with people because my parents and I have them, and I think it's cooler than hugs. When I babysit kids, I rub their eyebrow like this if I need them to fall asleep because it always worked when my dad did it to me. I say a prayer every time an ambulance passes by because my grandma said it could never hurt. And I used to hate crying, but then my friend told me that vulnerability was beautiful, and now I show more emotion than ever. And that's my mosaic.
I drink my water with chlorophyll because I saw it on TikTok. I make my eggs using pesto because I saw it on TikTok. I fold my tortilla wrap into quarters because I saw it on TikTok. I moisturize with CeraVe because I saw it on TikTok. I go to bed with a galaxy light on because I saw it on TikTok.
Whenever I see a mirror, I always be sure to look in it because I'm a Leo and I'm conceited. When I see someone walking down the street, a stranger, I always smile at them like this because I'm a white person. I always wake up in the morning because it's something that I always remember my mom doing whenever I was growing up. I always sit instead of stand on chairs because something kids at my school used to do and it kind of just stuck. We are all mosaics of people we've met. Who makes up your mosaic?
I remember my friend said that seeing guys kiss made him physically repulsed. I remember my parents said that pretty soon they were going to let people start marrying animals when gay marriage was being legalized. I remember everybody after school agreeing that they would rather die than sleep with somebody of the same sex. I remember somebody's brother saying that they would rather get beat up by a girl than a gay guy because that would be too big of a blow to his ego. I remember my friends.
I wear this whale tail necklace every single day because my dad surprised me with it on my Make-A-Wish trip. I set my username on every platform as Scampy Linguini because of an inside joke me and my friends had in 8th grade. I crack my knuckles in every direction because my brother once told me that if I didn't, I would have crooked fingers. I wear winged eyeliner every day because a girl that I met in high school did, and I wanted to be cool like her. The only album I play in its entirety during the summer is By the Way by the Red Hot Chili Peppers because my high school boyfriend gave it to me as a gift. When I'm petting an animal, I refer to it as wallerin' 'em because my grandpa does. When deciding something by flipping a coin, I say, heads I win, tails you lose, because it was my grandma's favorite thing to say. When I drive through a yellow light, I punch the roof of my car because my childhood best friend does it. Whenever I'm saying bye to someone I love, I hold up the ASL sign for I love you because my brother's deaf and that's how my family says goodbye.
Every night before I go to bed, I wash my feet because my great-grandma told me it'd help me sleep better. Every morning I always catch myself turning on Netflix because that's what me and my best friend used to do while getting ready for church on Sundays. I got into the habit of washing my sheets at least once a week because the guy that I used to like always washed his sheets. When I used to ride with my sister to school, she'd always keep a bottle of perfume in her car and spray a few spritz on her before she went inside, and now I do it too. I always make it a point to say be good and be safe when telling someone goodbye because my friend's grandma always used to tell us that before we left the house. I use the phrase I love you freely because one time one of my teachers told me you don't know the last time someone heard that. Human beings are a mosaic of everyone we've ever met. You're a living memory of every person that's ever mattered to you.
Ever since I learned to talk, me and my grandma would do this thing where right before I left, she would say, how much does grandma love you? And I would say, to infinity and beyond. And she would say, and what? And I would say, and don't you forget it. And I would give her a hug and a kiss goodbye. On the first day of kindergarten, I had really bad separation anxiety with my mom, so my teacher let me sit right next to her while she read a book to the class. I've always loved white butterflies because they always remind me of my Nana because they were her favorite. Ever since my close friend passed away, I always get super emotional when I hear the song Star Shopping by Lil Peep because she would always play me that song on her guitar. I also only got my septum pierced because she told me I would look beautiful with it. I always get super happy when it's a full moon because I feel most connected with my cousin because it was a full moon when he passed away. My mom bought me this ring in the 6th grade and she told me to never ever take it off, so I haven't taken it off ever since